Look at my creation! Look at it! Oh, it's. I don't know what I was trying to go for there. What is wrong with me? Oh, it's Trader Joe, and I'm finally back. I don't know why I was on such a long of a hiatus there from the devs, but I am here. Hopefully you can't hear things going on in the background. There is literally no good time to record. Anyway, I have designed a new craft to commemorate that, and you probably already saw something quite interesting. And I'm going to explain that system too. In fact, I'm going to explain that in the campaign mode because I have already got it set up. On top of that, I have my crazy transport system basically. I'm going to explain to you how exactly I plan on implementing it and using it. It's surprisingly effective too, like geez. But first, I just want to showcase something. Our next target is the White Flayers. So let's just, the calculator is maybe too big. I think, which one was it that it was? I think the Thresher was the one that I was judging against because it's the same size class. So I have this thing. It's stabilized by PIDs. It has anti-missile missiles that don't necessarily do that much. It's heavily shielded, so any kind of machine guns would... Whoa. Machine guns typically don't put much of a dent into it. Unless you're firing directly in the front, because there's like a slight blind spot there. But yeah, anyway, these are technically railguns. They only slightly accelerate the projectile though, because the engines really are put mostly into shielding. It has a torpedo turret, it has this thing. It also has like resource gatherers in these splits you barely saw. It moves at a decent clip. The turrets, they don't have the highest fire rate, but they're decent. Like, on top of that, I decided to apply a simple little thing I observed other people doing that made their ships way stronger. Shift P. These are the advancements I made. The biggest, most noticeable one is the turret has its own like casing. This protects the turret and keeps everything else safe. These shield projectors don't get in the way when it rotates. In fact, I may as well put in another Thresher yeah, they aren't in the way, even though they might look like it. It fits into turret sockets, and the turret sockets are actually a little bit wider than they need to be. But basically with this, it is extremely powerful. Also, some of these blocks, oh, it's when they get hit, they're being added back. But yeah, on top of that, like the AI is protected just by level 10 shields. The rest of it's level 5. I think on the turrets they might be level 6, but I might have turned those down. It has anti-torpedo torpedoes and anti-missile missiles. And I'm going to close this up. That's not what we're actually here for. Let's load up our save. And I'm going to point out, it's already obvious. I have a cargo crate, and I should have something called relay rocket. And this is all above my starting fortress. Let me just spawn these in and kind of explain this. Okay, so this is the stuff. This thing, it's stabilized. I'm glad. This is my transport ship. This is what's going to store resources. It can't actually store that many resources, and I'm probably going to expand it quite a bit from time to time. And right now it barely has enough. I'm going to wait until I can spawn in an Intrepid from it, which if I were to load the vehicle would be C vehicle Intrepid 95040. We barely can afford to do that with full inventory here, which I guess is okay. By comparison, if I was to load in a simulator, there's no way, basically, that this thing in its current form would be able to spawn it in. But yeah, let me just go back to the Intrepid. I want it selected. So yeah, anyway, so down here we have our base. It's just doing its resource collecting as usual. And up here we have the relay rocket, which is relaying resources to this cargo crate, which is hovering at this altitude, about 1,000 meters. This thing will fall due to gravity since they raised the gravity roof, whatever that is. Honestly, that change kind of, I don't know about it, but it's okay. And this will actually go up and down by itself. But yeah, that's not really a big deal though, because this thing necessarily doesn't have to move. It just has to be there to link this the resource gatherer and the cargo crate together. And then I have my ship here, the Fariha, like this thing, which can gather resources and basically it'll take resources from that and then use that to spawn in vehicles. So basically I'm going to spawn in an Intrepid with it. However, what I need to do before I can do that is turn this resource node, this node, I need to give that a relay rocket and a cargo crate, and then I will send the ship back and forth between the two until it gathers up enough to build an Intrepid class. And this thing goes 122 meters a second, which I believe is something like 640 miles an hour. No. I could do the calculation. In fact, let me do that right now. 439.2 kilometers an hour? That is 272.9 miles an hour. This thing goes faster than an Indy car. So that's and considering that most things you're dealing with speeds about a tenth of that, that's huge. I will have a massive logistical advantage when I manage to set this up. On top of that, I can use my craft to take apart the various ships. Think of it like this. These things only cost so much. I could transport these at least 2 at a time by breaking them down into their component resources and then spawning them back in. So basically, I could move these things at 230 something miles an hour to any part as a defense. And just a quick demonstration, which I will get to in a moment. Cargo crate, just give me a moment. How much do you cost? 7904, and how much does a relay rocket cost? 5209, evidently. So I will have to wait until I have, what, like, that would be like 1300-ish.
Listening.
So when I have that much, what I'm going to do is show you how fast this thing actually can, like, go. I believe we actually do have enough resources between these two points to be able to do that. So I'm going to do this in 1x speed.
Listening.
Because I don't need to do any faster than that. I'm going to do something
Moving
like
out.
this.
Moving out.
Okay, just look at this. That is... we're going this fast. That's a good example of how quick this thing actually is. And if I go into 10 times, we're going to be moving so quickly that we pretty much don't even, like, I barely have to wait. Okay, so now we are here. I can start building my cargo crate. Like, we have way more than enough. And let me make sure to caps like that so that it doesn't just fall. And this thing will be what stores the resources from the node. And of course it hardly holds that much, but it will be enough. Like, if I leave it for a while, I can come back to it. That's all that it's really there for. Yeah, there we go. Has enough charge to make it to the altitude it needs to be at. So, this thing is basically going to hover here forever until it does something. The way I managed to get it to hover is using an old version of Jabba's gunship AI. I have a similar thing going on with that. For some reason, the outdated version can be like made to stay at a specific volume, like height, not volume, but like height. Anyway, what I'm going to do is send this thing back and forth a bit and wait until I have enough resources to do the thing with. I have enough. I have enough. Okay.
Listening.
I have to divert this to its... I have to divert
Moving
it.
out. Moving out.
I'm just going to lower the... let's just lower you back down to your minimum. And we're going to spawn in an Intrepid here. This, let me just get a moment. That works. Okay, so we've got enough resources to build one of these. So, what's going to happen is I'm going to montage this. that was that. So with that, we have managed to assemble our awesome little Intrepid here. Why did I call it awesome instead of Intrepid? I have no idea. However, this thing ready to kick butt. I noticed a couple of weird artifacts. This isn't painted, and evidently there are parts here that aren't painted either. Yeah, I'm going to fix that. That's not going to make any actual difference to the craft, but it'll look cool, which is all I want. So in the meantime, I'm going to let these shells load. 84 each. I have a feeling, never mind, I don't need to let the shells load because it's already loaded up. So I'll just let the ammo come back, and I'll put this thing on its patrols. Now we prepare for our conquest. We have this awesome satellite rebuilding system, so I don't see any reason why we can't do that. We have everything except for like a plane, but you know what, that's fine. We have a phase nuke here. Let's just, I don't know, I want phase nuke in this fight.
Moving out.
I think that's reasonable. It is time. I have tried this 2 times before. Just for the record.
Receiving.
I've lost twice because I went up against these 150 resource fights with a fleet that couldn't possibly stand up to the damage that they were dealing.
Moving now.
So let's just move this fleet in. We're ready to fight. What are we fighting? We have a Thresher and a Spike. This is reasonable. So, what we should see is the entire fleet going up against this fleet. We should be able to deal with the Thresher and the Spike, whatever the Spike is. In fact, I don't even want to be on this. This is how I want it set up. I have a Thresher and a Spike. We're going to have a nuke that's going to go off pretty much immediately. Let's start the fight. Okay. I don't like how it stays in that, but anyway. The Thresher. Triple miniguns. And the Spike. It's some kind of advanced cannon jet. Okay. That's actually one interesting thing. A lot of my ships don't have like shielding directly top and bottom, so this is going to be interesting. Just press F11 and just watch the chaos. The song is doing a decent job at stopping the missiles, although it's getting distracted by the flares. Phase nuke went off on the Spike. Okay, that works out. Boomer is directly underneath. Oh my god. It literally like rammed the... Okay. Now from the looks of this, we're doing alright. Our Intrepid is drawing fire and dealing some minor damage, while the song just like pounds it. There we go. Managed to defeat it. fact, cancel.
Receiving.
I want to be here. You already won, right? I just want to see if I can like capture and get the resources. I died to my own missiles. I mean, that makes sense. The song managed to survive with everything. I need to retrofit this thing bad. Need a proper battleship, not like a battle cruiser like this. Like, the biggest issue I have with this right now is just the fact that it does not have enough engine power to support everything. And it's like really expensive and doesn't have enough shielding. And it's also hard to shield, but that was Intrepid, but that thing turned out okay. In the meantime, we're just getting more Intrepids. So we lost the phase nuke, but that's a given.
Receiving.
Everyone repair. And how much resource do we have? Evidently we have about 9. Okay.
Receiving.
So we have everything. Like, we have everything we need. What we need next is to find a way to assault this. And I have a feeling that we're not going to be able to do that without additional resources being brought in by our starship. Where is it?
Listening.
Right now it barely has any. Have to wait quite a bit. We need this. We really need this resource zone so that we can get a boost. So we're going to have to find a way to deal with that. In the meantime, Anyway, I realized that this has been mostly like a technical video. But I am pretty much out of time. The video is already going on like for 20 minutes, so 25. So not quite going to get these guys next. I do have a plan though, and it involves a bit of outmaneuvering. I can probably use, like, what I'm going to do is try to bait their fleets out and get them to reinforce another square. And then I can basically take the split fleets forces and fight them more on even grounds. We have our sights set though. And so for the next episode, until next time, see ya.